Dr. Phil, Michael Jordan, Stanley Tucci, Samuel L. Jackson, Johnny Sins, Jada Pinkett-Smith. All of these people have one thing in common, and that's being bald as fuck. However, one stands out above the rest, a glimmering, hairless beacon of absolute shittiness, a person who overestimated her own importance in modern culture that she thought she could rewrite history. Of course, I'm talking about Jada Pinkett-Smith, who's my target for this episode of What a Piece of Shit, a series where we explore the rise, the fall, and in some cases, absolute stagnation because they refuse to go the fuck away, of some of Hollywood's biggest pieces of shit. So join me as I go over the mediocre rise and catastrophic fall of this bald bitch. What a piece of shit. Jada Pinkett-Smith. Let's talk about it. Jada Corin Pinkett was born to Adrian Banfield Norris and Rob Soul Pinkett on September 18th of 1971 in Baltimore, Maryland. Her parents married young when her mother became pregnant with Jada in high school, but divorced several months later, which her father used as a reason to abandon the family altogether, only returning decades later once she became famous, something Jada herself recounted on an episode of her infamous Red Table podcast.
I was like, I don't owe you nothing. You didn't do for me. You didn't do for Caleb.
Jada's childhood was a humble one, growing up on Price Avenue in the town of Pimlico, a subsection of the city of Baltimore, graduating from the Baltimore School for the Arts in 1989. It was there that she met Tupac Shakur and reconnected with an elementary school friend, Josh Charles. Now, there's a lot of information surrounding Jada and Tupac, everything from the two of them selling drugs together.
When we first met, I was a drug dealer. And I've been having kind of an existential crisis around Pac because as I was coming out of the life, he was going more into the life.
Tupac asking to marry her.
When he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers. And I knew at that time, he needed somebody to do time with him.
But I'm not going to get too far into that shit, all right? There's too much speculation here. Jada says one thing, someone else says the opposite. It's all pretty much hearsay with nothing too concrete. But what is concrete is that when you've been married to someone for 27 years and have 2 kids with them, you probably shouldn't be running around town saying someone else was your soulmate. That makes you a real piece of shit. But we'll get into Will and Jada's marriage a bit later.
To a different kind of entanglement.
In the early 90s, Jada worked her way through the gauntlet of small performances in True Colors, Doogie Howser, and 21 Jump Street before her breakout role in Bill Cosby's NBC television sitcom, A Different World. Bill Cosby, whatever happened to that guy? Oh yeah, he's a piece of shit too. Anyway, it was in 1994 during her audition to portray Lisa Wilkes in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that she met Will Smith, going on to marry him in 1997 when she was 3 months pregnant with their son Jaden.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
When asked about her marriage, Jada stated in a 2001 interview with Jeffrey Zaslow that they were private people, and I will throw my career away before I let it break up our marriage.
Really?
Well, that worked out. That worked out pretty well, didn't it? Shortly thereafter, Jada found mainstream commercial success, which I'm sure had nothing to do with her marriage to one of the hottest commodities in Hollywood at the time, as Muhammad Ali's wife in 2001's Ali, 2003's Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, 2004's Collateral, 2005's Madagascar, and its sequels in 2008 and 2012, all leading up to arguably her most well-known role as Fish Mooney in Fox's Gotham from 2014 to 2017. However, it was in 2018 that she created the Red Table Talk podcast, which would go on to solidify her as the biggest piece of shit on the internet and arguably the most horrific dressing down in internet history.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely.
Now, their marriage is something else I'm not going to get too much into, because just like her relationship with Tupac, Jada has been caught in such a whirlwind of lies, it's hard to tell what's true and what isn't. She said her and Will were in an open marriage in 2013 and had been separated since 2016. But if that was the case, how come the
entanglement,
which also took place in 2016, was such a big deal? As a matter of fact, Will himself went on record in 2021 to say that their marriage has never been a conventional one, and that they both had sexual relationships outside of it. So I just don't I don't get it. Why was the
Entanglement.
such a major emotional moment for the couple, so much so that it turned Will into a meme that's still used to this very day, if both of them had agreed to not only have an open marriage, but to be separated when all of this went down?
That doesn't make sense.
My thoughts? I think Jada got caught doing some particularly egregious shit with a man who was 20 years her junior, who happened to be good friends with her son. And in order to save her reputation, the Smiths as a couple concocted this bullshit story. She gets to salvage her image in Hollywood, at least what's left of it. Will doesn't lose half of his shit in a divorce because equality, it's a funny thing, isn't it? And they can go about their mundane lives. Which, if that is the case, that's some grade A+ piece of shittiness.
He's out of line, but he's right.
But then 2022 came around, and the slap heard round the world rang out at that year's Oscars.
Oh, wow! Wow!
Now, this is important, right? Especially in regards to their marriage, because look at Will in this frame, right after the joke is said. He's laughing. He's fucking laughing. And it's not until a scowl crosses this bald bitch's face that Will decides to physically assault a fellow entertainer. And then he has the audacity to say this.
Change up.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
You serious?
Your wife? I'm sorry, the same wife that you've been separated from since 2016? The one who tore your heart out during a podcast episode in front of the entire world? Does Jada have pictures of you at a Diddy party with some baby oil or something? Why are you defending this piece of shit? Oh, and did you know that Queen Cleopatra was black? I'm being serious. Just listen to this totally legitimate testimony.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
Right.
Well, that's that's good enough for me. This piece of shit not only narrated the Netflix series titled African Queens, she produced the damn thing and went on to comment in promotional material that we don't often get to see or hear stories about black queens. And that was really important for me as well as my daughter. And just for my community to be able to know these stories because there are tons of them.
Are you sure about that?
So many stories that you got to the third one in the series and had to take a well-known Macedonian Greek woman and change her ethnicity on the mere merit that you fucking wanted to, you piece of shit. Appropriation. It's okay when we do it. This went over about as well as you'd think it would, with anyone who had more than 2 brain cells, including the entire country of Egypt, to the point a few formal complaints and lawsuits were brought forth over the false claims and historical inaccuracy. None of them went anywhere, but it's pretty fucking funny that an entire country got pissed off at you because you took this and somehow made her into this.
Are you retarded?
And well, that's it. That's the story of one of Hollywood's biggest pieces of shit, Jada Pinkett-Smith. Outside of some production work, Jada just sits at her little red table spouting whatever stupid nonsense she wants to on that particular day. And who can blame Hollywood? Really, she's never been particularly talented. She's always ridden the coattails of her infinitely more popular and successful husband. But all along, we've known what she really is. A piece of fucking shit. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for checking out my video. I'll talk to y'all later.